Board of Supervisors will come to order. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on this unusually cold day. I see a lot of winter coats this morning when I was walking, including myself. The clerk has taken roll. We have a quorum. At this time, I would ask Supervisor Hamilton to come forward for the invocation and ask the body to remain standing afterwards for our pledge of allegiance.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for letting us gather today to do the work that the people of Wood County expect from us. Guide us in our decision making so that we may work towards making their lives better. Keep our service members and protective services personnel safe and guide them in their daily tasks. Finally, Lord, we ask that our veterans for the thank our veterans for the service they gave us. Without them, we wouldn't have the freedoms we enjoy today and every day. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Supervisor Hamilton. Reading of the October minutes. We have a motion on the floor and seconded to approve the October minutes. Is there any discussion, corrections, additions to those minutes? We will do this on a voice vote without objection. See no discussion. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Thank you. We have no excusals today. We have one resignation, that being Marv Colbeck from the Civil Service Commission. We will take that by itself. Voice vote without objection. We have a motion and a second on the floor regarding that. Is there any discussion regarding that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Thank you. Appointments, reappointments. We have several today. Veteran Service Commission, a 3-year term to Mitch Waite. Civil Service Commission to fill a non-expired term ending January 1st of 2021, David Lottie. Civil Service Commission, 5-year term, Leland Cowell. And County Board Supervisor District 4, Dawn Urban, and a subsequent appointment to the Public Safety Committee. Without objection, we will take those as one with a voice vote. There is a motion on the floor and seconded regarding those appointments. Is there any discussion regarding those appointments? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Thank you. At this time, I would ask the clerk if he would swear in new Supervisor Dawn Urban.
Supervisor Urban. If you would please raise your right hand. Do you, Dawn Urban, having been duly appointed as supervisor for District 4 in Wood County, do solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Wisconsin, and will perform the duties as a member of the Wood County Board of Supervisors to the best of your ability, so help you God? I do. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Supervisor Urban. Thank you, Clerk Meyer. At this time, we will take public comment regarding agenda items. Is there anyone here wishing to make public comment this morning? Anyone wishing to make public comment? Ma'am, are you? Yeah, I think the microphone's on. You'll be on the timer, ma'am. You have 3 minutes. Please identify yourself.
Thank you, Peter. Good morning. My name's Ann Stevningro. I'm from Marshfield, Wood County, Wisconsin. And I'm here in support of the resolution to put the referendum for the Fair Maps legislation on the spring ballot. Though Wood County thankfully passed the resolution several years ago, you are our representatives, but letting the citizens vote and speak their voices to the legislators in Madison has a greater impact than a county resolution. 71% of Americans favor rules for fair maps and against gerrymandering. The Constitution of the state of Wisconsin requires that districts be bounded by county, town wards consist of contiguous territory and be as compact as practicable. Since 2011, Wood County has been divided into 4 assembly districts, diluting the voice of Wood County as a governmental entity and also diluting our community of interest. Since 2011, Marshfield has been divided into 2 assembly districts, diluting our voice and community of interest. Our state senate district for the western part of Marshfield goes over past Chippewa Falls into Dunn County. The eastern district, senate district of Marshfield, goes through Wausau up through Taylor County into Sawyer County and Hayward. This is not a community of interest. These are not compact districts. And a fair maps commission or legislation would help prevent the violation of the Constitution with the forms of the computer rigged maps that we have presently. The state fair maps are supported by a great number of people in Wisconsin. The referenda have been greatly successful. 38 of 99 assembly candidates ran unopposed in the general election in the last election. And part of that is because the people, the voters, have been chosen by the electors and legislators instead of the other way around. So they are in safe districts, be they Democratic districts or Republican districts, so no one sees a point of running against them. That has also led to greater polarization, where people don't talk to each other because they are fearful of being primaried from the other side of their party rather than compromise and working with people. So I'm glad that we're putting this on the agenda for today, and I appreciate the support of the Wood County Board in favor of fair maps. Thank you.
My name is Mary Dahm. I'm from Wisconsin Rapids, and I am also here to speak in support of the county board passing the resolution allowing a referendum to go on the April 7th ballot, asking the voters if they are in favor of nonpartisan redistricting. In 2013, this body was the first in the state to pass a resolution in support of non-partisan district maps. And as of today, there are 47 other counties who have passed similar resolutions. There have been 8 referendums that have passed. When you ask the voters if they want nonpartisan redistricting, they overwhelmingly agree that yes, they do. And I think it's time to let the voice of the voters be heard on this matter. So thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Jay Jackson, District 14, Wisconsin Rapids. I am speaking for this resolution. The state constitution does have rules, and since the last gerrymandering that took place, it's time now for us to go back to what we're supposed to be in a compact district and let the will of the people be heard. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Ron McCabe, and I'm from Wisconsin Rapids. And I too support the referendum question. I grew up in the state of Iowa, where an independent commission does this districting process, and I always thought that was a fair sort of approach. And I'm sure if this question is brought to the people, they will support the idea of nonpartisan procedures as well. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment this morning? Any other public comment? See none, we'll move on. We have no acknowledgements or recognitions today, and that will get us into the packet. The referrals on page 8 have passed along to the proper committees. On page 9 through 14, we have executive committee minutes. 15 and 16, renewable and sustainable committee. Page 17, the administrative coordinator's report. County clerk on pages 18 and 19. Finance Director, pages 20 through 34. Human Resources, 35 through 39. IT, 40 through 42. Facilities Manager on page 43. Treasurer, 44. Which brings us to our first resolution brought by the Executive Committee, and I would ask the clerk to read that, please.
This will be Resolution 19-11-1, to establish Wood County's tax levy for 2019 collectible in 2020. Fiscal note $27,595,460.
We have a motion on the floor and seconded regarding the resolution. Is there any discussion on that motion? Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, please vote. And that motion passes 18-1. Thank you. Our next resolution on page 47, also brought by the Executive Committee, and I would ask the clerk to read that as well.
This will be Resolution 19-11-2, to approve the year 2020 budget. Fiscal note, uses and sources total $119,997,128.
We have a motion on the floor and seconded regarding the resolution. Is there any discussion on that motion? Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. And that motion passes 18-1 as well. We have established a 2020 budget. That budget is on pages 48 through 46. And that would take us to our third resolution on page 57, also brought by Executive, and I would ask the clerk to read that, please.
This will be Resolution 19-11-3, to amend the 2019 budget for extension with a transfer of available appropriations from fund balance. Fiscal note, no additional cost to Wood County. The additional appropriations needed in the extension budget are available in the general fund efficiencies budget and total $2,000.
We have a motion and second on the floor regarding the resolution. Is there any discussion on that motion? Supervisor Clendenning.
Yes, is this a temporary placement, or is this somebody that's going to go on and whatever assignment is made, when that's over with, do we continue to keep that person? Is this a permanent position that we're going to be having, hiring an intern?
Without objection, Jason, can you answer that?
Yeah, so this is a temporary position. We're hiring UW-Madison student intern to work with Ruben and the Efficiencies Committee on an efficiency study under the direction of Nancy in our office. When the project is finished, this position will cease to exist. Yep.
Supervisor Clendenning.
So, and the duration of that is, it could go on for years. Being an intern, does that just last till the end of a semester or something like that?
I believe there is a short time. All right, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, it's a semester, so we're hoping that this is finished by, I think I'm looking for Ruben here, I think the hope was that with Nancy and Ruben and some of the stuff, like 2 to 3 months to finish it. Towards the end of the semester of next year, so the spring of 2020 would be the conclusion of that when the student is done.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? I see Nancy just walked in. Nancy, there was a question regarding the intern for the efficiencies, on the length of that. Do you have any, without objection, Nancy?
And the length that
The intern on the
Oh.
efficiencies?
he's going to do the majority of his work during this fiscal year. There may be a little carryover into January to wrap things up while he's on break from school.
Thank you. Supervisor Clendenning.
I know this should have been discussed more in the executive committee, but it was not. I just feel that we're getting from the extension office the state itself downsized and kind of put 4 or 5 counties together, and then we did that. And they did that to save money. What I see is what we're doing is hiring different people, like we would hire somebody for cranberries because we're a cranberry county, and we would do that through the extension. Maybe if we had more CAFOs in the area, we'd probably hire somebody for CAFOs. I just don't know why this can't be done internally, and I am voting against this. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, please vote. And that motion passes 18-1. Thank you. Next, 4 resolutions, I believe, without objection, we can take as one. And I would ask, these are also brought by executive, and I would ask the clerk to read those, please.
First one on page 58 will be resolution number 19-11-4. To accept the offer of sale of tax deed property. Fiscal note, offered amount subtracting real estate taxes, delinquent utilities, tax deed expense, incur a loss of $10,285.67. The following page will be resolution 19-11-5. To accept the offer of sale of tax deed property. Fiscal note, the offered amount subtracting real estate taxes, special assessments, and tax deed expense incur a gain of $6,154.86. Page 60 will become resolution number 19-11-6. To accept the offer of sale of tax deed property. Fiscal note, the offered amount minus real estate taxes, delinquent utilities, and tax deed expense incur a loss of $1,233.74. Page 61 would come resolution number 19-11-7. To accept the offer of sale of tax deed property. Fiscal note, the offered amount minus real estate taxes, special charges, delinquent utilities, publication fees, and tax deed expense incur a gain of $40,591.52.
We have a motion on the floor and seconded regarding those resolutions. Is there any discussion on those resolutions? Any discussion on the resolutions or motions? Seeing none, please vote. And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Vice Chair Roser.
I don't have a question, I just want to make a comment. I just want to commend our treasurer. We have these outstanding tax deeded properties, and she has worked really, really hard to clean up some of this. And I think that our department heads very frequently don't get the commendations that they need to let them know that they're doing a really good job. So I just wanted to make that comment and thank our treasurer for her judicious and conscientious application of the law and to do what we need to do, and it's to the benefit of our county. And I think that all of our department heads are wonderful, but in this particular circumstance, Heather's done a really good job with pulling these together. Thank you.
On page 63, we have Health and Human Services Committee minutes. Veteran Service Commission on 64. Health Department, pages 65 through 69. Human Services, 70 through 76. Veterans, 77 and 78. Public Safety, 79 through 82. Central Records on 83 through 86. Coroner, 87 and 88. Humane Officer, pages 89 through 96. Sheriff's Rescue, 97 through 101. Various other Sheriff's Department reports on pages 102 through 117. Golden Sands, RC and D on pages 118 through 127. Land and Water Conservation, 128 through 132. Planning and zoning, pages 133 through 137. Citizens groundwater, 138 through 140. Extension, 141 through 144. Judicial and legislative, 145 through 147. Court counsel on 148. I noticed a lack of humor in the report this month. Peter, what's up?
We're doing reviews.
Child support, 149. Register of deeds, 150. Various correspondence with the Judicial and Legislative Committee on pages 151 through 203. Which brings us to our 8th resolution on page 204, brought by the J&L Committee, and I would ask the clerk to read that, please.
This will be Resolution 19-11-8, to conduct countywide advisory referendum on creation of nonpartisan procedure for the preparation of legislative and congressional redistricting plans and maps. Fiscal note, there will be a minimal cost to the county depending on the size of the ballot.
We have a motion on the floor and seconded regarding that resolution. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Supervisor Clendenny.
I will be voting yes on this resolution. I know we did it in 2013, and it did pass. At that time, we did several resolutions, and they did pass to put on the ballot. I think it's good to let our people know in Wood County and our legislators know just how the public feels. I know this seems to be a very partisan issue. When the Democrats were in office, they had chances to change it when the Republicans are in office. But this is to the voters. How would you like it? I know you can look at the north part of Wood County, in which they have several legislators. You can look at the fact also that I believe we have 7 legislators in Wood County, which for a population of that. But it's the division of it and who's representing you that I think counts. I know when we went and redid the county board, we set up the different districts 1 through 19, and there was changes made to that from what the committee did, because we would take one of the districts and say, no, we got more in common in this district. So then we moved some municipalities into that district and then moved the other ones. So I voted for this. I think it's good to let our voters in Wood County vote on this issue. Thank you.
Supervisor Holbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As probably one of the people on the board who has experience with the way districts are drawn, I once upon a time ran for assembly in the 70th district, and I'm here to tell you that the way the boundaries for the 70th were designed was almost ridiculous. I don't know how many people recognize the fact that as part of the 70th, as part of the gerrymandering that went on, there are 2 islands south of the 70th Assembly District that are not even connected to the district that were put in there. And when you look at the extent of the boundaries of just the 70th, it runs from south of Sparta all the way up to the 4 townships, the northwest townships in Portage County. Some of the boundaries go around one house and then around the next house and the next house and the next house. And I'm not standing up here saying that Republicans are the only people who've ever done this, because Democrats have done this in the past as well. I just think a resolution like this and an effort to get the kind of redistricting that we need needs to happen across the board, no matter who's in office and who the deciding factors are. Thank you.
Any further discussion on the motion? Further discussion? See none, please vote. And that resolution passes, or that motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to our 9th resolution on page 205, also brought by the Judicial and Legislative Committee. And I would ask the clerk to read that, please.
This will be Resolution 19-11-9, to modify the name and membership of the Executive Committee. Fiscal note, nominal savings of 2 per diems per committee meeting.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second on the floor regarding the resolution. Is there any discussion on that motion? Vice Chair Roser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be voting against this resolution. It's not broken. I don't understand why we need to change something when it's not broken. I think the executive committee works well. I think it has broad representation on it, and because of that broad representation, there is sufficient input as to a lot of major policies that are under discussion in the executive committee, and it's just beyond me why we need to take something that I see as working pretty well. It's a very diverse group. I think 7 is a good number when you consider the size of our county board, and I just see no sense in trying to fix something that's not broken.
Any further discussion on the motion? Supervisor Clendenny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll tell you what's broke about it, in my opinion. 7 people on the executive committee, in my estimation, is ridiculous. All anybody's got to do is get 3 more people and you have a majority. And that's the way it tries to work. Most things that go through a committee have to go through the executive committee. I, as a county board member, I want to hear it and I want to discuss it at a county board meeting, not to have to go back to the executive committee. My intentions of this resolution coming from the Judicial and Legislative Committee was the fact that I think it should be 7 people. I think it should be renamed. So if it does go down to 7 people, 5 people, just like the other committees are, then what it does is it says, well, that has to go through the executive committee. No, it don't, because there's no more executive committee. If it has to go through another committee, you just put that in your resolution or get it. Everything has to go through the executive committee, and I personally think that that's ridiculous, and I just hope people to get rid of this executive committee the way it is formed right now and to have it a 5-person committee.
Any further? Supervisor Clendenny.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also favor this resolution. It's kind of full circle. We're going back to where we were, but in my experience, when we appoint members to those committees, you hope that they have some interest, some wherewithal, and the ability to serve. And I know in my experience, when we had people who we could appoint as committee chairs and had expertise in that particular area, and oftentimes they declined or didn't want to serve because they had no particular interest in serving on the executive committee, and it's a forced appointment in that respect. So I think giving the county board chair the latitude to appoint those people who would best fit on that committee is a good move, and in this case, I will support this resolution.
Any further discussion on the motion? Discussion? See none, please vote.
You changed my mind.
And that motion passes 11-7. Thank you. Pages 208 to 210, we have Parks and Forestry. And on page 211, we have our 10th resolution brought by the Highway Infrastructure and Recreation Committee. And I would ask the clerk to read that, please.
Well, it's because there wasn't any minutes to perk that it got a little bunched up. Okay, here we go. This will be, hold on. This will be ordinance number 19-11-10 to rescind and recreate Wood County Ordinance 401 Highway Access. Fiscal note, none.
We have a motion on the floor and seconded regarding the resolution. Is there any discussion on that resolution? Any? Supervisor Clendenny.
I just wish somebody from the highway committee, because there's no minutes back in this, that we went right to that, if they'd explain this resolution a little more.
Supervisor Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would, if it's appropriate, I would ask that the highway commissioner come up. and
Without objection, Highway Commissioner. Vote.
We currently have an access ordinance that is outdated, lacking some enforcement for the highway department to maintain certain driveway issues, and I've developed this from contacting our local association, the Wisconsin Highway Association, along with neighboring counties, and comprise a bunch of items that have taken some of the I guess the handcuffs away from the highway department for maintaining access and allowing us to be a little more lenient in spacing and the number of driveways along the route. So there's been a lot of waivers over the last, I'm guessing probably 6-7 years, that have come to the highway committee because the policy didn't allow certain things to happen. So this new policy takes that into account. Still keeps the enforcement with the highway commissioner, and allows us to still come back to the committee for waivers. But it's basically an update for current changes and allows the highway department a little more ability to do things that it hadn't done with the past policy.
Thank you. Any questions? Hang on, Roland. Any questions for Roland while he's at the mic? Anyone? No? Thanks. Any further discussion on the motion? See none, please vote. And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And on pages 212 through 219, you have that new ordinance. On pages 220 and 221, we have minutes from the Central Wisconsin State Fair Board of Directors. Pages 222 through 224, we have draft minutes from the South Central Library System Board of Trustees. And finally, on page 225 and 226, we have the Wood County Library Board minutes. That brings us to the end of the packet. I would just like to mention that there is, if I'm correct, a ribbon cutting ceremony at the solar array at Nepco Lake scheduled for, I believe, November 21st. I'm informed that more details are coming from both the Renewables and Sustainables Committee and the Parks Committee. Keep that in mind, mark it on your calendars. Is there any other business that needs to come before this board this morning?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I've set some items on your desk this morning. One of them is the annual report for the statistical information on property valuations in Wood County. I don't print off that entire book, and neither did Cindy. It is available for looking at in our office. Otherwise, the link to the site for the Department of Revenue is indicated there. Also, December 1st starts the new round for elections for the spring. I've included paperwork for you. If you want to stop and fill that out today, that's fine. Otherwise, the declaration of candidacy and the campaign finance registration statement can be filed now. You cannot circulate nomination papers until December 1st. They need to be back in my office by January 7th at 5 p.m. And if you do not intend to run, a declaration of non-candidacy should be filed in my office before December 27th. So keep those dates in mind.
Supervisor Clendenny.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two things. One is the County Ambassadors Program, the CAP committee that was just recently held down in Madison. I thought it was very well attended. It's one of the best ones I've seen, where we went to see our legislator and they were available, and I would encourage people to get in on those steering committees. And one of the next ones that's coming up, it's going to be February 4th and 5th. And that's going to be the legislative exchange down there. And I think, you know, we should have people attending that. And the other thing, I'm rather embarrassed to do this, and the fact that I think since Veterans Day was yesterday, to ask the chair for people to stand who are veterans.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Ask the people.
to stand who are veterans,
Okay.
who are veterans.
Yes, we certainly will do that. Anyone, in the room that is a veteran, service veteran, would you please rise for recognition? Thank you for that, Supervisor Clendenny. One final thing, Bill, what was the date on that legislative exchange?
February 4th and 5th.
Yeah, I would still encourage anybody that is interested to go down there. That's a great event. I think it's probably more informative and a little more relaxed than the annual meeting, and there's a lot of people that you can connect with legislatively down there, so I would encourage anyone that can to attend that. Finally, we are entering the annual hunting season here in Wood County. I know a lot of you guys are hunters, so I would encourage everyone to be safe, stay warm, and have a great holiday on Thanksgiving. And with that being said, I will declare this meeting adjourned at 10:05. Thank you.